One. What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, couple days before Valentine's. So, y'all know what it is about that with Valentine's Day. I don't have Valentine, but nonetheless, we are going to move on with that one. But I want to say that my name again is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's coming on with me today. She's in my old stomping grounds, which is in Minneapolis. She is a digital producer for NPR News, and prior to that role, she was an associate producer as well. Her name is Anika Besst, and we're going to talk to her about her why of becoming a producer in the journalism field. And we're also going to talk to her and get to know her by asking her some get to know you questions. So, without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Anika Besst. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it once again. And listen, my first question to you is the same as it always is with every guest that's on here. And that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models or any inspirations maybe growing up? But ultimately, what is your why for wanting to get into the journalism industry?
Yeah, great question. I think I've always really loved stories and storytelling. It's kind of been a core part of my life and part of me. I come from like a theater background. Like I was a performer growing up. So then once I got to college, I was like, I don't want to give storytelling up. What's kind of something I also love to go with it, and I did pursue theater as well. I went to Hamlin. Then I found journalism, and I knew kind of in high school it was something I was interested in, but it was really in college that I was like, no, I want to pursue this. But yeah, it has continued to remain something I love with being able to find community, support community, in just like what it means to tell each other stories and learn each other's stories and just kind of like all the beauty and sometimes the harder stuff that comes with it, but it really is about truth and storytelling, both of which I love.
I love that. I really do. And obviously, you're very creative with the stuff you have on the background of your wall. I love some of the photos that you have, so that looks absolutely amazing. You said something that really hit me, which is theater background. I love theater. I'm a huge theater buff. I'm preferably musicals, but I do love plays as well. I would love to know if you're a musical person, or if not, what is your three favorite musicals?
I feel like the answer changes from week to week.
Mhm.
Okay, so currently, Cabaret has always been my favorite.
Okay,
Um, love Cabaret. And then I will say, as of recently, my other favorites have been Moulin Rouge,
yeah,
specifically the revival that went up like 10 years ago,
for
5 years, I
sure,
don't know, how many years.
for sure.
Um, and then for third, I'm kind of right now obsessed with either Little Shop of Horrors or Kimberly Akimbo, the musical version.
Absolutely. And you picked three definitely different ones, no question about that. I love musicals to the core. Little Shop of Horrors is definitely one of my favorites. It's so
Classic.
hard. It's so hard to narrow it down to three. And I know it was a tough question, but for me, if a three coming off the top of my dome, I would say Hairspray is probably my favorite. One of my favorites is Hairspray, no question about that. Another one of my favorites is probably, I would say, I don't even know if you call this a musical, but The Greatest Showman.
That's
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my favorites as well. I like to sing that all the time. I don't even let people watch the movie because the song comes on and I start singing. That's just the
you
way it
know.
is. I know it, right? And then
Yeah.
my final one that I would probably say that I love, it's a toss up between Hamilton and Annie. I'm a huge Annie fan.
That's
Huge.
really niche. I feel like not many people actually, like everyone knows it, but not everyone loves it, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, the honorable mention is Wicked. Wicked is one of my favorites too. That's an honorable mention.
Yes. Of
N-
course.
No
I
question.
mean, especially with the movies. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. I love that. I love that. Now, what part of Minnesota are you from? Are you from the St. Paul, Minneapolis area?
No, kind of. I'm from suburbs, so I'm from the Coon Rapids area. It's kind of by
Mhm.
Anoka, northwest suburbs of Minneapolis.
I
Um,
definitely know
so
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, as I told you, my old stomping grounds, I lived in Southwest Minnesota, which if you know Southwest Minnesota, that was in Marshall, Minnesota. So
Mm-hmm.
Marshall was about 2 hours and some change away from there, but I would have to come to the cities to cover state stuff. So state basketball was in the Target Center, or state basketball was, as they call it, the barn there at the University of Minnesota. I would have to cover stuff there and stuff like that. Or if I was covering professional hockey, I would have to come to, I'm sure it's a new name, but it was called the XL Energy Center when I was there for last year for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Within a year, a new group bought it, so it's the Grand Casino uh, Arena, Grand Casino Center. Yeah, Arena, I think it is because it's hockey. But yeah, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
That's
know it
what's up.
well.
I love that. I love that. I love it. So what I want to do is I want to ask you, because you mentioned it before. You say you went to Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota. I want to know, were there any other schools that you were considering going to, or was Hamline your number one choice?
There were other schools. I'm the youngest of three, so I had toured a lot, like with my other siblings, and so I kind of knew what I was interested in and what I didn't like, and I knew I wanted to stay relatively close to home because I just have always appreciated having my parents just part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
like nearby part of my life physically. So I was looking at Minnesota for undergrad. I toured Hamlin, I loved it, and then I did kind of like the other tours both in Wisconsin and Minnesota. But the other two that really kind of rise to the top were St. Mary's and Winona. And then I love the Bluffs and I kind of love the area, another small private school. And I knew I didn't want a big school. So then the other school I was looking at was St. Scholastica in Duluth because I
Yep.
liked UMD right next, literally across the street.
Hmm.
Plus, it like anyone who's been on the campus knows it. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but everyone says it looks. Or I don't know Harry Potter. Maybe I'm a fan. I've never watched or read it, but it looks like Hogwarts. They say, and it does. Like it looks like something out of like a book. So, but yeah, I continue to really like the community in like the Midway area where Hamlin's based in St. Paul. Plus, like it is that feeling. It's so cliche to say like it does feel right in your gut, but that was for me. Like I really had that like it's kind of here or nowhere. I know it just connected because I was a tour guide in college, so I tried to explain that feeling, but it's something really hard to articulate because not everyone is kind of blessed with like the stars aligning in that way feeling wise. But I
Right.
was, yeah. So I loved it. Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that for you, no question. I like I said, and for people that don't know what UMD is, that's University of Minnesota Duluth, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken, which is obviously a school that I know of, because Southwest Minnesota State is in the same conference as them. They played them a lot. So I got a chance to see them a lot in the multiple different sports and cover them as well. So yes, definitely know about Duluth, Minnesota, Winona, Minnesota, and all those areas very well for sure. So I love that. And I also love taking the trolley. I call it the trolley, but I don't know what you guys call it, but the trolley that you can take to the airport in St. Paul and downtown Minnesota, but also you can take it to different places to get to. I just love that city feel of Minneapolis. I really do. More so than the suburbs. I like the suburbs, but I like the city feel of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Same. Since like coming here for school and work versus like growing up in the suburbs, I definitely, at least at this point in my life, like I don't know where life will take me, but for now, I am happy being in the cities.
I love it. I love it. You know, the next time I come out there, Annika, I'm definitely gonna have to say hello to you for sure. No question about that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Gonna go try one of the coffee shops nearby.
Absolutely, I would love that. Are you a Raising Cane's fan? Because the first time I actually moved to Minnesota, I tried that for the first time ever, and I never had it before prior to me going there, and it hooked me. I was hooked after that. Are you a Raising Cane's fan?
It's good. It's good. I haven't had it in a really long time. I think sometimes the chicken tenders, because that's like what I gravitate towards, are like, and like what they're known for, are a little bit towards like the too big of chicken tenders. Like I wish you got like one more and slightly smaller, because they're just like, I like the crispiness, and if it's
Hmm.
too big, then you don't get enough like proportionally. So,
For sure.
but they are good. They have good fries. Um, yeah, there's one sort of near where I am, so sometimes my friends will get it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm fine eating it because it is good.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, I'm gonna ask you some favorite questions off the rip, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these questions. Okay, so first
Got
one
it.
is favorite meal you like to cook.
I don't like to cook, but favorite meal is I like tacos.
Okay, I think we probably gonna be best friends, girl, because you said the number one thing that I love. I absolutely love tacos. There's no
You
question.
can't
I
go
don't care.
wrong.
You cannot go
Can't go
wrong.
wrong.
Chicken, beef, steak, it does not matter to me. Either or.
Vegetarian, all of the above.
All
They're
the
all good.
above. I'm with you on that. Totally with you. Okay. All right. So we off to a good start. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Small venue, Dessa. Large, she's a local artist in Minnesota. Large venue, Conan Gray. Enough
Mm.
said.
Okay. Well, for those of you that are not in the Minnesota area, so there's the Armory. There's the Armory there in Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, there's a couple more other small venues there that I went to personally. Have seen concerts there, and then obviously the bigger venues is Target Center, XL. Those are the bigger venues that you go to. Maybe sometimes Target Field in the summertime that you possibly can go to. Baseball field, maybe a band might come play there. But yeah, I definitely know about Dessa, no question. Definitely know
There you
about
go.
that. Conan Gray, I
Oh,
do
wait.
know. Go ahead.
Small venue. You forgot like the most famous small venue in Minneapolis.
Well, is it the Fillmore? Is it not the Fillmore?
No,
Is
but
it?
yeah, that's cool too. Uh, it is in Purple Rain, the movie with Prince.
That's
It was
right.
made famous by that.
Okay.
First Ave, First
Okay.
Avenue.
Oh, yeah, that's right. First Avenue. I was blanking on the name. That's right, First Avenue. I'm so used to the Armory and the Fillmore, but the First Ave, you're right. And I actually did go to Paisley Park, Prince's establishment when I was out there. I did. Have
You
you
have
ever
to.
have you ever visited?
Of of course. I grew up
Okay.
here. No, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Both. Well, I knew where it was prior to his passing, and then after he died, like once they made it into like a space to remember him, then went. But yeah, I mean, like as a Minnesotan, I think if you hadn't, then are you really a Minnesotan? You know,
You know,
it's not as
in
real.
my opinion and your opinion, I would say no. But you would be surprised how many Minnesotans I've met that have not been to his establishment. I'm like, you got to go. You got to go. There's also a crazy time where I went to. There's a famous candy store near the cities of Minneapolis that has all types of candy in the store. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I went there too. Absolutely crazy. That was a crazy spot. And before I get to this next one, as a Minnesotan, I want to ask you, is Mall of America overrated?
Yeah. In my opinion, no one would say that. Probably everyone loves it. I think it is because I just like we're not a mall family growing up. We
Hmm.
just like didn't go to malls. Like that wasn't our shopping experience.
Sure.
I've had good memories, and I've had memories where I'm like, nope. So I usually try to avoid it if I can go to any other versions of the stores. But they
I'm a,
do have a lot of like because it's like the Mall of America, so they have all like the specialty outlet mall stores. So it's
for
worth
those of
it
you that will
once.
travel to Minnesota and that will watch this, you better put on your walking shoes. It's three stories of a mall, number one. Number two, it's a bunch of stores. And if you have kids, you probably gonna be spending some dough because it's rides inside the mall. It's rides on the bottom floor. It's a roller coaster inside the mall. The food court is bananas. It's crazy as well. So you definitely gonna be spending money there too. So like I said, it's you put on your walking shoes. You definitely won't probably get done in a day. You're gonna need some multiple days to be able to walk that mall unless you're there for like all day long, which
They
I don't really, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't be there all day.
You get exhausted. They have a what's it called? Water park also attached. So it's
They
not
do.
in but it's like kind of a one-stop shop. Okay, I hate to do this to you, Chris, because I know editing sucks, but I need to turn a different light on because it's bothering me. So you can
You
keep this in. It's fine.
you are all right. Don't you even worry about that. Don't worry about
Okay.
that. Listen, we are live, we are doing it, and we can all it's all good. And your lighting, you look great.
That's
Okay.
better.
Regardless of the
Thank you.
light, you
Thank
look
you.
good. Okay. I'm telling you that
Thank
right
you.
now. For sure. Now, my next favorite question is favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Oh. Uh, ew. In the United States, I like New York City, but I will say I think right now the place that and it's like not even that far, so I feel kind of um, like too Midwestern saying this, but I really like Kansas City. But then out of the country, I studied abroad in Thailand, and that was very fun. Um, so I would go back to Chiang Mai, Thailand, because that kind of has a special place in my heart. But I really like Kansas City if we're talking the United States.
People think people don't know about Kansas City, and I'm very fond of Kansas City too. Reason I'm fond of it is because that's where the Negro League Hall of Fame Museum is. And I love that. I'm a huge historian. So
Yeah.
visiting that was amazing, but I also love to go see Kauffman Stadium, which is where the Royals play. I'm also huge into barbecue food, so
Hmm.
I tried some great barbecue. Kansas City was just a great city that's kind of underrated, to be honest with you. I'm going to
I
say
agree.
I'm going to say Chicago, another Midwest city. And the
Okay.
reason why I would say Chicago is because I do have family there, but I love a great sports town. I love great sports food. Obviously, the bratwurst there, the deep dish pizza. Chicago's known for their deep dish pizza. Michigan Avenue, the lakes. It's just great in the summertime. So Chicago's definitely a very wonderful city that I love traveling to for sure.
And going back to the Baseball Hall of Fame, my dad planned the whole trip around that single museum. So
Wow.
he's always wanted, because they, like, during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, they redid the museum.
Mhm.
So it was that and the Jazz Museum, like,
Yep,
or one of the Jazz Museums. So we did them both.
absolutely.
I highly recommend for that, those two museums alone, or for the barbecue, or for all of it.
Oh yes,
It's a Kansas
absolutely.
City's great, but Chicago's cool too. All the Midwestern cities, we love it. Come to Minneapolis, come to all of it.
Please, please do. No question. Now, I'm a huge sports person. You may not be, but I'm a huge sports person. So this is a two-part sports question. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, favorite sport you like to attend in person. They can be the same sport.
I am a huge sports person. I grew up with baseball, and then once I got older, I gravitated. So actually, I cover the Lynx basketball, or like basketball, but more specifically women's basketball for NPR. And then I also love the PWHL. So my favorite, I think they gotta be the same answer. I really enjoy the PWHL, both probably going in person more because it's just
Mhm,
like you can't beat the energy of being in a hockey arena,
mhm,
but you cannot beat a WNBA game. They are like
mhm.
it is better than any feeling in the world. I love going to them. I don't even know how many I've gone to in my life. I really like the basketball game. So, and watching them on TV, because basketball goes so quick. I grew up going to a lot of baseball. Also have a special spot in my heart for baseball.
Mhm.
But it's just not the same. Even though stadium food is stadium food and like it hits every single time.
Every time, every time.
But the W, by far, women's basketball is my favorite to watch and to go to live. How about
Girl,
you? What do you think?
girl, you are on point like a period. I'm telling you that right now, girl. You sounding better and better each minute. Like seriously. Now the Minnesota Lynx, I had the privilege and the pleasure of covering a finals game when Minnesota
Mm,
played the Liberty
mm-hmm.
in the finals. I've covered a few Lynx games while I was there. That's why I'm thinking we might have crossed paths because I know I've been there and I know I had credentials. I definitely have covered the PWHL team, the Minnesota Frost. I believe they're back-to-back champions of the hockey league.
Yeah.
And they won that for sure. And I know I've covered that, and there has not been a whole lot of media people covering that. I know that for sure. But
Yeah.
but they're a very good team. And I definitely I know Abby Zephyr pretty well, who is over communications there. So yes, she is somebody who delves out to obviously the credentials and stuff like that. And I've gotten credentialed before, so yeah, definitely know who she is as well. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, that's what's up.
My favorite.
Last, last of the favorites. I'm a huge foodie. As I told you, Raising Cane's is one of my favorite places. But I want to know, what is your favorite place to go out and eat out at in St. Paul, Minnesota area?
Mm, the one that I actually was talking to somebody about this today. There's a place. It's in Northeast Minneapolis. It's called Hi Hi. It is. Oh, I feel like looking it up because I'm gonna mess it up. I think it's Vietnamese, but it's like a fusion cuisine. It is very good. Did you ever try it while you were here?
No, I've heard about the place though. I have heard about it.
So good. I went to it a couple years ago when it first opened. It was great then, but then I recently like came back on my radar for like some new menu items. The drinks are good. The food, the apps are good. Yeah, like can't go wrong. Plus the space is so cute. It's like an older, must have been like maybe a former apartment building or just something. Like
Sure.
Northeast kind of has like older buildings sprinkled in, but they have gorgeous healthy plants all over, and it's painted beautiful colors. So here in winter, it is nice to go somewhere that isn't like dark and cold looking, and
Sure.
instead it's
Sure.
warm and good food. So Hi Hi is my favorite.
Okay,
Local.
so next time that I do slide about there, because I do plan on coming back out there again, obviously, hopefully for work, but also leisure purposes. 'Cause I still have some friends out there as well. We definitely gonna have to go to High High for sure, no question.
And I did just Google it while you were chatting. I was listening. But yeah, so Hai Hai means tutu in Vietnamese, but it's Southeast Asian street food. Super,
Okay.
super good.
Okay, I'm a huge rice and chicken person, so I love anything rice and chicken is always good. A good egg roll is always good as well. But hibachi, any kind of hibachi style type of place that cooks food up in my face, I'm with that too. So I definitely love that. So that's my kind of style of food. Outside of obviously the Americanized food and the chicken and stuff like that. So yeah, I love that. Okay.
Outside of Raising Cane's,
Pretty
obviously.
much. Pretty much. Because Raising Cane's, you can't go wrong. As soon as you say raisin, we in the car rolling. So we about to head over there. You ain't even got to finish the rest of the restaurant because we about to head over. Because Raising
We know
Cane's is
where you're
like
going.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question. I love that. Okay. You pretty good. Pretty good with some favorite things. Now, I want to talk to you about your day to day. As a journalist, as you know, no journalist that I've ever met has had 2 days the very exact same. Every day is different. Every day is going to be different. You wake up with a different story, wake up with different ideas, and to pitch. Sometimes your hours fluctuate depending on how long you've been in this journalism game. You work different shifts, depending on what happens throughout the day. Sometimes you have a day that you have everything set up and planned, and then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
goes to hell because all of a sudden your source falls through, something falls through, you have to pivot, you got deadlines. Talk to me about your day to day process, being a digital producer, because people that normally are producers, they're behind the scenes. They're not in front of the camera. They don't really write a lot of stories, but they control everything as far as how the story is going to come about or how the show is going to come about. Talk to me about your day to day process of working with NPR.
Yeah, that's a good kind of definition or like capturing the job. So digital producer, we are on the digital team, obviously. So we control a lot of the social media, the actual publication or like organization of our website. And then outside of that, we do a lot of like audience engagement and civic engagement kind of stuff. So, like, I oversee the voter guide, which is kind of the most relevant for most people in November, but elections are year round with special elections and primaries and everything. So that's kind of like my it's a thing I'm obsessed with. I love my whole job, but that's a thing that like really I'm a nerd for it. But my day to day, I wake up at 3:30 because I start at 5 a.m.
Ooh,
and then I am on desk. It's called at NPR. It means like you're the point person for anything social media related, publishing related, audio, like anything, getting it up on the website or getting it
right.
out to our audience. That's like you, so you're on that for a couple hours. You're like the point person. When you're not on desk, you then do other stuff, of course. But yeah, so I hand off a couple hours later from the 5 a.m. start, which I am like I was a morning person. I wasn't like I wouldn't be waking up at 3:30 normally, but I don't mind it because it's kind of nice to ease into my day without like I don't know. Don't have traffic when you're driving in at 4:45. You don't have like other chaos that maybe like a 9 to 5 has. Maybe it's normal.
Sure,
I don't know.
sure,
But
sure.
yeah, so kind of a quiet start to my day, and then after I hand off desk, I do a lot of reporting and other like civic engagement. So I send out like the text messages for our org for like weather or other stuff. I so the coverage I do is I do a lot of arts coverage, and then I do a lot of women's sports coverage, and then some stories sprinkled in. I also focus a lot of my coverage on higher ed, so like colleges and universities. That's
Sure.
kind of like I was a college reporter, so it kind of just gravitated into my like the lens I first kind of look at when I think of different ways things are impacting our community. Um, yeah, so it's like you said, no day's the same. Some days it's like I'm doing digital stuff all day because it's breaking news and like we're updating Instagram every 2 minutes or Facebook every 2 minutes,
Right.
or we have live streams. But yeah, it's nice. It keeps me on my toes and like it really is. You never know what's gonna come up next. Even like the days you plan are like the days that kind of go off the rails the most,
Hmm.
which has yeah taught me a lot about rolling with the punches or just rolling with the opportunities because it's not always like punches per se.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
but yeah, yeah. So that's kind of my day. I'm usually like I end my day at 1:30. Recently, it's been a little bit later, and then you go do what you need to do and start again the next day.
And that's a great description, Annika. It really is. And mind you, that's one of the reasons why I love being a journalist is because you don't have that redundancy of doing the same thing over and over again. I would hate to be sitting at a desk just doing the same thing over and over again. I love the
Yeah.
fact you get out to the people, the world, you do different coverage. You also learn different things too when you're doing these stories. You learn different things about people, you learn different things about the environment, about colleges, like you said, about sports. Because, like you said, everything that we cover is always something different. And again, that's why I love it. However, you also it also brings me to another point that I want to talk about, and that is work-life balance and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I want to talk about that is because a lot of people in our industry have walked away because their mental health has been affected. A lot of people has walked away because of work-life balance. They just can't find the right type of balance. I think balance, in my opinion, looks different for everybody,
Yeah.
depending on what the balance looks like for you and what you can handle. I want to know, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still have that work life balance? Because you seem like a wonderful woman to be around. I certainly wouldn't mind hanging out with you, and I think your friends and family feel the same way about you. But you also seem
Hopefully.
very right, but you also seem very dedicated to your craft and what you do. So tell me, how do you avoid burnout and also being overwhelmed in this industry?
That's a great question. I wish I had an answer that would seem like perfect and foolproof because I think like every day like we just said every day is different, so it's hard to kind of have like a one size fits all or like one method works.
Right.
Plus I consider myself early career like by every measure. So like the imposter syndrome is super real, and the um, like figuring it out and kind of muddling through it is real. Just like muddling through what's best, like work life balance, advocating for yourself in the newsroom or in your workplace, advocating for yourself outside of your workplace, your
Yeah.
family and friends, like when you talk about your job, everything. I think for myself, like I feel silly being like this is what I do because I'm so early, but I know the things that like I strive to do is a kind of like what you started tonight with. Why am I in this job? Why did I ever find a reason to love it? And how do I continue to stay true to that reason every single
Right.
day? Because I
Right.
think it like really bases my goals around like why you wake up in the morning, you know, and it also keeps my intention of just keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. Because it's like you really never, even if I was like mid career or later career, like I'm never gonna know everything. And journalism changes so quick, so that
Yeah.
keeps me fresh and kind of also gives me an opportunity to allow myself to like show myself grace. Because I think like it's easy to beat yourself up about every day you're doing something different. So it's like, why didn't I cover that better the day before? Or why didn't I reach out to that other person? Or it just like all those questions, but you really can't sit in that like what if or that why didn't I? Because it wastes too much time. So just
Right.
like trying to give yourself in that same way. I think the other thing is like I um, had something else I was gonna say about how to take care. Oh, I'm still learning the work life balance, like totally. Because I know some days I get so obsessed. Like I think in a career where I'm fortunate enough to have been able to pursue something that I like really can't see my life without. I love stories, I love truth, and I love being able to be in a space where I get to commit my like days to this. Um,
Absolutely.
so it's like some days I get really wrapped up and then I'm like, oh my god, I need to go home. So figuring it out, but also like knowing it's okay to take time for yourself. Especially recently, we've been reminding ourselves of that a lot in the newsroom. Like, you gotta take care of yourself so you can provide the best coverage you can and be most present for your audience and for your sources and your community as you can. Because also, like, let's be real, you're not going to be able to tell as great of, or hopefully great stories or be able to capture something if you are not feeling like you kind of are standing on ground that feels comfortable. So, trying to take that time, but knowing that, like, I'm bad at it and need to work towards it every single day.
I love that answer. And I really do appreciate again your transparency. I really do. It's a question worth asking, right? But I don't think anybody's ever going to have it 100%. I certainly don't. I know when I first got into the industry, my thing was I'm a sports reporter and I'm working from 2 to 11 or 3 to midnight, and nobody wants to hang out on a Tuesday at midnight. Nobody wants to hang out on my off days, which was Wednesday and Thursday at the time, in the middle of the day. That's just business hour type days. And I was really finding it very difficult to find like people that are likewise because I worked in a office that everybody was 2 times my age. And it's like, okay, like, I don't know, I'm like, I'm so used to being a social butterfly and not like trying to be the life of the party, but at least just have somebody that I could be relatable to. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
it was really affecting my mental health a little bit because it was
Totally.
hard for me to establish relationships.
Yeah.
As I've
Yeah.
gotten older in this industry, I've learned how to deal with that a little bit better. And now the fact that I'm freelance, I'm able to make calls and pitch stories or cover teams or cover games for different people, different networks and whatnot. And I'll just, I'll deal with it better. I deal with it much better now. But I know when I first started out, that hit me hard because I didn't have any family around. Because when I was in Atlanta, I had my mom's. My dad's up here in upstate New York now. But when I was in Minnesota for years, I did not have any family.
Mm,
So no family was around me. So I had to try to, be able to do my thing. But I do what I love to do, but my mental health was definitely affected for sure. That's especially
yeah.
early on in my phase.
Yeah, well, and it's like when you have those changing, like your space is changing or your family, like who you have around you, it's so
Mhm.
hard. Plus, like, I think sometimes, like, you can get really caught up with a story or just, like, your hours, Like, if you're covering a game late or if it's the league that's near you is, like, they made it into the championships or whatever, like, it's gonna look different. So it's like so joyous because it's like this is really exciting for my career or really exciting just to cover as somebody who loves sports or like whatever the case is. But yeah, it's like that kind of those like I don't want to say sacrifices because they like aren't quite on that scale of like what I would consider it's like opportunities that come with their own choices that are sometimes like not as fun to make as like hanging out with your family or whatever. So um, yeah, it's weird. Plus, like you take it where the coverage is or where the job is, and like I haven't yet known what it's like to move states or move regions or countries, but that is most definitely something that's I think really present in this job. Is like you kind of go where your dream job goes, but which is like in any career, but I think it's unique in journalism for whatever
Absolutely.
reason. But
Absolutely. No question about that. And this is also another great segue because now I want to talk to you about advice.
okay.
What is some advice that you would give someone, maybe an intern that's with NPR, or maybe someone that wants to get into the journalism space, whether it's male or female? What kind of advice would you give that individual about becoming a journalist?
Yeah. I have had the opportunity to work with some interns in the newsroom, which has been so much fun because like they feel like classmates in the way that I just graduated like a couple years ago, which is like the I can't say that for too many more years for like any more years. So yeah, I'm getting further and further away from that point, but it feels nice to just have people that yeah you like I remember what it was. So
Yeah,
I usually tell them like ask as many questions as you can. I'm very fortunate NPR is like we have made it or like the um historically the space or maybe not historically but right now our commitment is to making it a teaching hospital method so it's very much like around throwing opportunities at everybody and teaching people as much as you can. And I haven't been in many other workspaces, but I just know this is unique and very, for me, that's this kind of space I want to be in. So I kind of have like these conversations with the interns where I'm like, hey, have you thought about this? Is this something that you like? And if so, what does asking questions look like for you? Like, who do you like the most, or who do you feel most comfortable with? How can you kind of like pick their brains? What job do you want? Like, this is a kind of space that, and anytime I think in your career, it's like never wrong to ask questions. I mean, some days like yeah, if it's breaking news, maybe hold that question, but but it's still like just it you can never stop learning. Always keep learning. There was like a double negative that bothered me, so always keep learning. So that and I think like have fun with it. I know not everything that we cover is fun,
right.
but if in the opportunities where it can be fun and not just fun in the way of like make something that can make your audience maybe smile or take a minute to just have something different than other news that they're reading. But I think like for me, and this probably comes from my theater background, like journalism and storytelling is about experimentation and it is about finding new ways to meet your audience, whether it be through accessibility and through different modes, different, like, look at social media, the way different types of social media, different types of video, short form video, like everything just teaches us something different about how people can learn and take in stories and just feel part of something or feel not part of something. Just it all matters, and that's what I part of why I love what I do is like I feel like every day I get asked like what is the best method for this and how can I push it further? How can I do it differently? And I think like reminding people to never be afraid of that
I love it.
because there's a reason it's evolved over time. So that's
Well, I
I
love
think
that.
that's it.
That's great. That's great stuff. It really is. And the reason why I do this podcast is that people need to get a behind the scenes look about what people's lives is like. Sometimes people see the finished product, especially with broadcast journalists and even with print journalists. Sometimes they see just the finished product, what's online digitally, or what that male or female is doing with the live shot, standing in front of the camera with a microphone in their hand, and they don't understand what the process is like. They don't understand it because all they see is the finished product. I think
Yeah.
it's a good reminder of when you talk to people that's in this industry, it's like, okay, this is what you have to go through. And you said the word, you said sacrifices. And I would say, in my opinion, I would use that term because there is some certain sacrifices that you do need to make in this industry. Sometimes you're going to miss that celebration with your family. Sometimes you're going to miss
Yeah.
that outing with your friends. I've been called at times. I went to the bar and I'm looking to turn up. And like I said, I like to work hard and play harder. All of a sudden, I get that call and I'm like, well, damn, I got to put the drink down. I can't drink anything. Hey guys, I got to go. I got to go cover this game. Somebody called in sick. I've gotten that call a couple of times. I'm sure you probably have went home and maybe your boss has hit you up on some breaking news where you probably have to turn back around or you have to lock back in and, you know, have to go back to work. Or you've been at home and it's hard for you to shut it off. Like for myself, sometimes it's hard for me to shut it off. Like you said, you work and you really enjoy what you do. You're like, man, I'm scrolling through Twitter. I'm scrolling through this. I'm trying to be first to the news. I'm trying to see what's going on. Then you look up and you're like, oh my God, it's like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night and I've been scrolling and you lose track of time. But you don't look at the time. You don't pay attention to it. So it's a question worth asking because people love to get advice, but they also need to know what the A and B side is of this industry. That's it.
Totally.
I love it. I love that. So the next thing I want to ask you about is I want to ask you this question: how do you deal with hard news stories? You talked about it. Every story is not going to be a cookie cutter story, but how do you specifically deal with hard news? Do you take it home with you, or do you try to, separate yourself from it once you leave the station or once you leave work?
Yeah, and by hard news, you mean like heavier stories?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota, we've had a lot of it in the past like 10 months, 8 months.
absolutely.
So I've had a lot of I don't want to say opportunities because it has not been like something you would wish upon anyone in the ways of how heavy the kind of realities are, but
Yeah,
the but I've had kind of the chance to maybe see different methods, and that's something I actually was talking to one of my supervisors about semi recently. It was like maybe a month or two ago, about like with this teaching hospital kind of method, I've been able to see how a lot of people process things they're covering in the same ways I am, whether it be kind of from like an audience, what do they need to know right now? How can I get it to them?
yeah,
Or from like a on air standpoint or whatever the case. But I I know for myself, I am somebody who feels things really big. I've always felt things like super big, and I just like emotions are what I know. So it has always been something that like the humanity of things has never. That's maybe how I first see things. I don't like. I don't know how other people see them. Maybe analytical or maybe maybe they just don't process it the same way. But for that, sometimes I find myself bringing it home, but most of the time I find I'm huge in journaling. I think that's like the best meditative process for me. So I've in the past like 8 months, 8 to 10 months, been like writing like crazy outside of writing for work.
Sure.
And that has really helped because I think so much of it is like when you're doing breaking news. So a lot of this heavier news recently, you are processing it in the way of like going through the steps of doing what you do in a newsroom. So sending the push notification, sending the social posts, sending like reaching out to your colleagues in the field or whatever the case is. But the and thinking of like next stories. How does this kind of snowball into like all the other effects
Yeah.
of whatever just happened? Um, but then for myself, like that's like not real processing. That's like processing in the space where you're like, I kind of feel like it's like a switch is turned on and it's like, okay, breaking news time. Go into this mode where you're like, boom, 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 like getting it all done.
Right.
And it's like once it's kind of that like drive home, you're like, you feel like you're like, I don't know. It's, yeah. So it's I wish I could like articulate it. I feel like everyone has that from work, but in different ways. Like when it's a
Yeah.
heavier day, you're probably like in the car sitting quiet because you're like, what just happened? Um, but yeah, I think it's again like something I'm learning to master, or maybe never master, and just like try to read myself and what I need. But leaning on your colleagues to know like, hey, how do you deal with this, or like, is this impacting you? Because sometimes just like knowing where other people are at helps me. And also, I lean on my family, so talking to them, and it has helped. Um, I'm very transparent, like, hey, this was a heavy thing, and you're gonna read about it in the news, or maybe you already know about it,
Right.
but like, I can't talk to you about it because I saw it from a different perspective, or like I saw it firsthand, or whatever the case is.
Right.
Um, in the way of just like trying to build that emotional, like maturity for myself in the way that the Venn diagrams of the emotional impact for things and like the work experience are going to overlap sometimes. So that's kind of what I found for myself.
No, again, I appreciate your answer. It's, again, a question worth asking. And people deal with it differently. I've had many people come on here and say they separate themselves from it. I had many people come on and say they do take it home with them and they feel that empathy. Because, it's just tough to do that 50-50. You have a job to do, but at the same time, I don't know how you can't feel some type of empathy for stuff that's happening that's happening, right? Whether it's a killing, whether it's a house burning down, whether it's the
Yeah.
ICE situation that's obviously been going on out there in Minneapolis for quite some time, with the different incidents that's happened and transpired out there. And there's just no way that you couldn't feel some type of way, in my opinion. I think all news reporters, um, I have a tremendous amount of respect for, especially who do the heavy news stories, because I avoided that just because. I said, I'm going to be sports because I love sports, yes, for sure, but I knew I didn't want to do that news because I don't want to stick a microphone in somebody's face because everybody deals with grief differently. Everybody deals with grief differently. You never know how a person is going to react if you trying to get a story. Some people want to tell their stories and get them out there. Some people want no parts of the media. That's just the way it's going to be. That's just how it is, how it always is. So I love your answer, and I do appreciate that. We have came to the portion now of my podcast. So now we're going to do my interactive game, which is called This or That. It's a game that I like to play with all of my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. Anika is very simple. I'm going to throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, are you ready?
Pause. Is your mic covered up or something?
No.
No? Okay. I just wanted to check because it's like some of the audio was like cloudy, sort of. That's not a real description of audio. But I just want to make sure it wasn't like a plugged in and not plugged in. But okay.
No,
I
no,
can
no.
hear you.
Not at all.
Okay, cool.
Not at all. So we're good. We're good. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna throw this first one at you. When it comes to these, two restaurants, which restaurant would you rather eat at? Outback, not Outback, Texas Roadhouse, or Longhorn Steakhouse?
I've never had a Longhorn Steakhouse near me, so Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Do you eat the cinnamon bun when you go there?
What'd you say?
Do you eat the cinnamon bun when you go there?
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So, next one. When it comes to chicken wings, which flavor would you rather put on the wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper. Lemon pepper all the way. That's my favorite. Lemon
Okay, so
pepper.
that's my favorite too. Now I'm going to ask you, do you like your wings wet or dry?
What does that mean? Like dry rub or like sauce?
Yep,
Oh,
or a
okay.
lot of sauce on it.
I like dry rub. I think I like dry rub right now in my life.
Okay, do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Bone in has and more authenticity. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Boneless is easier. When I'm out to eat, boneless because I hate having to be like, how do I eat this? But at home, bone in.
I got you. I got you. Okay, I like that. Now, these next five questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend. Okay?
Okay.
So, what would you say is your favorite genre of music, or do you listen to it all?
Listen to it all, but my favorite based on Spotify would be indie pop or indie alternative, like indie folk. So indie.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Now, out of these two artists, we'll start here. Out of these two artists, which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Rihanna or Beyonce?
Beyonce. Ah, that's hard. I think Beyonce because I've always wanted to see a Beyonce concert. So yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm with you on that. Now, this next one, which music artist would you rather go see? Would you see Gavin DeGraw or Hozier?
Hosier.
I'm a huge Hozier fan.
Hearing him, hearing him live would be crazy.
Yeah, yeah, he's good. He's really
It
good.
would be great.
No question. Okay, which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Tame Impala or would you rather go see AJR?
Tame Impala. Yeah.
Okay, you sure about that?
Yeah, I needed a minute, but that's my final answer.
Okay,
That's
I'm with you on
that's
that. I'm with you on that. All right. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Post Malone or Jelly Roll?
I think Jelly Roll. I think Jelly Roll.
Okay. All
I
right.
think both would be fun though. Both would be really fun, but Jelly Roll right now.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Now, this next one here is the last one. Okay. And all these artists I listen to, by the way. So I'm a huge fan for them. Which music artist would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Alex Warren or would you rather see Morgan Wallen?
Isn't Morgan Wallen the? Yeah, no, I don't think my music taste is necessarily the same as Morgan Wallen. So,
Okay. Do you know who Alex Warren is?
is he in the same music category?
I would say close, but not the exact same. Like he has a song called Bloodline. Have you ever heard of that song?
A Bloodlines?
Yeah,
I feel like Alex. What's his name? Warren. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Alex
Um.
Warren.
Yeah, I'll say him. That can be my final answer.
Okay, okay. I got you on that. Now listen, I'll ask this bonus one. Okay, I don't know if you're a historian of music or not, but I am certainly a historian of music, and I love oldies type music. So I'm going to ask you a hypothetical one. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Michael Jackson or Prince?
That's hard because they both were like major competitors in their time.
Hmm.
As a Minnesotan, I should say Prince.
You should.
I think
But what
I,
would you say?
I grew up with more Michael Jackson music, and I think dancing to the music that I grew up with would be really fun.
Sure.
But Prince's, I guess both of their outfits were crazy, but I think seeing Prince's outfits in person
Mhm.
would be a moment. That's a hard. Maybe I'll give it Michael Jackson because I've been listening to Jackson 5 a lot recently.
Okay.
Different era of him, but maybe.
I love it. I love your music taste, though. You got some good taste there, for sure. Let's go back to music. Oh, not music. Let's go back to sport. Which sport out of these two would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Okay. Which one now? Which sport, if you're out and about, would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Those are such different vibes. Bowling probably.
Are you a
I'm
good
very
bowler?
bad at it. What'd
Oh,
you say?
are you a good bowler?
No, 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 I'm terrible. I'm like, if it was like teams, you know how sometimes like you add up your whatever, I, it's like laughable how bad I am. Like I get last, but um, it's fun. Plus, like, it's it's like an aesthetic that I'm so bad at. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So yes,
it's totally okay because you can't be brilliant at everything. You know what I mean? Like it's just tough. I suck at skating. I'm a terrible skater, so hockey would not be my sport. I will fall
there
on my
we go.
bum all the time. There's just no question about that. So
There we go.
there
The
you
truth
go.
comes out.
The truth does come out for sure. No question about that. Now, do you like dessert?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to name four categories of dessert. You have to choose one of these categories that you would never eat again, that you would just starve. Okay, so here we go. The first category is going to be candy. The next category is ice cream. The third category is going to be cookies. The last category is grouped together. So it's pies slash cake. Which one are you getting rid of?
Pies and cakes. I love pies, but I don't love cakes always, so I'll get rid of that, I guess, if I have to.
Okay, I know it's tough. I know it is, but let me ask you, what is your favorite ice cream?
I like chocolate chip. Not, I mean, dough is good, but I like chocolate chip, where it's like vanilla with little chocolate pieces.
I love it. I love it. That's actually my third favorite ice cream because cookie dough is my second favorite, and my first favorite is cookies and cream, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm a huge cookies and cream guy. That's me for sure. Okay,
They're all like the same, minus just slightly different variations.
yeah, pretty much. And listen, I'm very basic and plain when it comes to like food. Like you don't, there's not a whole lot you have to do to make me smile when it comes to food. That's for sure. I'm very basic, very plain. I love that. So for sure. Okay. Do you like potato chips?
I do, yes.
Okay. So same format. Uh, four brands. You got to get rid of one of these. So here we go. First brand, Doritos. The next brand is Lay's. The next brand is Pringles. The
Oh.
last brand is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Doritos.
Okay. Now, if you and I are walking into a store and I tell you, hey, go to the chip aisle and buy your favorite chip to eat, what are you buying?
The Puffs Cheetos. Like the puffy versions of Cheetos, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yes, absolutely. And listen, I'm a little weird. I'm the type of person that puts my chips in the middle of my sandwich and I eat the sandwich. Do you do that?
That's not weird. Yeah, I feel like most people do that.
You know what?
Maybe it's weird. It can
Oh,
be weird. It can be weird.
yeah, that's what I say. They call me weird for that. I'm like, I do that with every sandwich. It doesn't matter if it's like
Exactly.
a regular sandwich or a Subway sandwich, Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, it doesn't matter. I do it all.
I've never done it with like a sub. I've done it with like a sandwich at home and
Oh,
like a hamburger, but which is like yeah, a sandwich. But I've never done it with like a Subway or something.
oh
But
my God.
maybe I need to try it.
You need to.
It does help to have like the crunch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree. I totally agree. See, you're awesome. You're absolutely awesome. Now, listen, I would like to. I got three more for you before I let you go. This next question here has to do with give me two of your favorite stories that you have done since your time at NPR that you've done in the journalism space that is memorable to you.
Two, okay. This, um, I'm trying to decide. I had two sports stories that I really liked.
Okay.
So I'll pick one sports story and then I'll pick something else. I did a story about so this past season for the WNBA, the Lynx. Well, yes, the Lynx, kind of the whole league, but especially the Lynx after the wasn't the finals, the semifinals. There was a
Finals or seniors.
game. Mm-hmm. Fee got busted up pretty bad after a fall, and
Yep.
it led to Cheryl Reeve walking on the court during the play, and she got fined the biggest fine in history, and just it led to a lot of conversation,
Yep.
um, to say the least. And I covered like the story was about the history of women's basketball and how it has been so deeply baked in advocacy, ad- advocating,
Advocate. Yep.
activism. I was
Advocate.
combining the words.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just like history of women's basketball, but then how unique it is to be kind of spearheaded by these powerhouses here in Minnesota. Um, I just loved it. I talked to them about like the economic argument for the shirts the players wore, pay us what you owe us, and it just like kind of went into bits of that conversation. My editor basically was like, "Make it as long as you want." We did cut some, but it was cool to just kind of go off the rails. So that was like a dream piece to do in such a like a moment. Talked to some really cool sources for that one. And I got to beep it out on the radio because in an interview with Cheryl Reeve, she swore. Well, not I wasn't interviewing her, but it was at a press conference during after that followed that game.
Yep.
So it was just fun to use the like beep noise when someone swears because you don't do that every story. So that
Sure.
was a favorite.
Sure.
And then another favorite was mm, I did a piece about RAs, college RAs, resident assistants,
Yep.
back. This was, I think, a year and a half ago. But it was kind of on the heels of the pandemic. Well, when schools were out of the pandemic, but in this space where they were still navigating policy around how to like best support students. And RAs, resident assistants, are people who look out for like their floor. They're generally upperclassmen. And I did a piece about. It was sort of like a enterprise investigative piece about RAs and gaps in the support for those students that are resident assistants, and what different models of that could look like, or what support the students might need when they're in that role. Just kind of like diving into that. I would love to pick it up one day now that we're kind of further from policy around the pandemic and such.
Yep.
But that was really. I got to talk to a bunch of young people, got to talk about college, and kind of a weird, not a weird, but like a crazy time for both college students and the world coming out of the pandemic. So that was a fun one. Not fun, but interesting one.
I like it. That's pretty awesome. I like that. Yeah, I definitely remember the Sea story. No question. That was a Olympic comics play which was very aggressive. I think he broke a leg, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like pretty injured badly and was out the rest of the series, which is why Minnesota lost that series. No question about that with he being gone. But yeah, Cheryl Reed got ejected that game. So yeah, I definitely remember that for certain. But yeah, those are two really great stories. This next question has to do with bucket list. I want you to speak this into existence before I ask the question to everybody. Give me a top four list of events or stories that you would like to do in your career that you haven't done yet.
You're gonna scoop my stories. Um, I won't give details, so nobody can take them.
Mhm.
Um, I so I do a lot of music coverage, and I love it. So I think I want to do a music festival sometime if the opportunity ever arises. Just like I do a lot of like opportunities to interview bands or interview singers or guitarists for different music groups or for themselves, um, and I would just love to be able to like hear all that music, record all that, like be in the space with fans and just like music festival. But talk to multiple people. It would be so cool. Um, and then I really want to do. I want to do more basketball. I love it. But I would love to, coming into this W season, kind of pick up where that not argument, but conversation left off. Like, what has changed. A lot of that was the bargaining agreement with a players union, players union.
Yeah,
Um, so it would be really cool to be like, okay, here's where we're at diving into the season, especially knowing a bunch of the players are free agents now compared to last season for the Lynx, especially, but across the league. So it's just going to be a changed landscape, and I want to be a part of covering that. Okay, you said four.
I did.
Okay, so that's two. I want to do more pieces with college. High school should cool too, but college school. I want to. I don't know. I have so many ideas when it comes to college, but I think where I'm at is I really want to talk to more students about AI, um, artificial intelligence in school,
Oh,
both
yeah.
like the things they're learning because it's moving so quick. I'm
It
part
is.
of our AI working group at work, so we talk about it from like an editorial standpoint. But I want to just like know like students, do you like it? Do you use it? There's plenty of pieces like this going on, and plenty of conversations about students using it and getting in trouble, whether it be like plagiarism or other things. But it's just kind of like maybe that would bridge conversations I'm having with coverage with what young people are actually facing. Plus, it's like interesting, like capturing that in the moment of while it's kind of this like
Phenomenal.
moving target.
Yeah.
And I want to do. I work in radio, so I really want to do a rich ambi story outside. I'm thinking the water somehow incorporated with the water, but I'm not really married to anything yet. Last year I did some cool ambi like ambient noise sound. I did a piece at a like a beehive, like a woman who keeps bees, a beekeeper, keeps bees. Yeah, and we talked about like honey. It was for the Minnesota State Fair, so that was really cool. And for some reason, I'm just drawn to getting the sound of water, maybe rocks, maybe I don't know, but that's where I'm at. So that's kind of what
I love,
maybe you can look out for.
I love it. I love it. Well, I will give you my four. And my four is all going to be sports related for sure. And one of the things that I would love to do is I would love to do an NBA final. It would be special to me if I had my Lakers in it, because I grew up in California. So it would be special if I had the Lakers in it. But if I could do an NBA finals, that would be awesome. To be able to do the All-Star game. So what I mean by the All-Star games is two WNBA All-Star games. Would love to go to Chicago this year and be able to do that. That would be amazing. Or MLB, which is in Philadelphia. That would be absolutely awesome as well. I just want to be able to do some All-Star games and do that. So those are special type games where you have legends come out and parties are great. I had a chance to do the Super Bowl last year, did that in New Orleans. That was absolutely amazing. And then also there's the WNBA Finals game, which that media was crazy too. So I like that. My third one is a unique one, but it's one that's going to be happening this year, and it's actually going to be taking place in Minneapolis, and that's WWE SummerSlam. If there's any way that I can get out there and cover that, that would be absolutely amazing. Um, it's a different perspective. It's a different kind of entertainment. It's not something that I've ever done before. I've never done wrestling on a professional level. Only covered it in the collegiate and high school level. So to do it in a wrestling Being the professional level would be amazing. Plus, it's out there in Minneapolis. It's at Viking Stadium, and it's a 2-day event, which I think it would be absolutely amazing. And it'll give me a reason to come back to Minnesota too. So I would like that would be amazing to do that. Last but not least, I would say I am a huge baseball fan, so World Series is something that I would love to do. Playoffs is great too. I'm really close to Toronto, about 2.5 hours from Toronto. So at the same distance as I was from Marshall to Minnesota or Minneapolis, I'm back in Toronto now. So seeing the Blue Jays play, if they obviously get back into the dance, that'd be amazing. I'm not a Blue Jays fan, but if the World Series comes over here, that'd be amazing. Also, I'm trying to get the credentials to have the Toronto Tempo, as you know, that's the inaugural season again for the W. They're a new team, as well as the Portland team that's going to be coming into the W as well. I'm definitely wanting to get credentials for that as they're trying to line up their staff now, communication staff. I'm hoping to get credentials to be able to do that. And obviously, if I ever go to a game and the Minnesota players here, I definitely have to be in tune with you. So I probably will be at the game at some point. So that's for sure. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely keep in contact for that. So those are my four main ones for sure of what I would like to do in my career that I haven't done yet. For sure.
Such a hard question. I mean, like, it gets you thinking. But yeah, like, World Series would be crazy cool. Kind of like a W finals or NBA or W finals where there's multiple games. Like, it's not just one, but I guess that's a lot of the finals other than Super Bowl. But um, yeah, like, just cool to follow, especially if you travel with a team. That's cool. Um, but All Star, you see the best of the best. That'd be that'd be really. Plus, it's fun. Like, there's stuff on like stakes, but really it's basically just about celebrating how good the players are. So that's cool to be a part of.
Absolutely. And mind you, I've seen some great stuff there in Minnesota. I got a chance to go to, I think it was a few years ago, the Page Buckets came back home and played in the Final Four in Minneapolis. Got a chance to do that. That was amazing. That was awesome. And be able to not only interview uh, with, be in the same room, sorry, as the media people, as they were asking questions with her in the room. That was amazing. That experience that I will never forget, for sure. I want to be able to do more incredible stuff like that. I'm going to get you out of here on this question, and that is advice. We talk about advice that you would give someone, but what is some advice that someone is giving you that you hold on dearly to?
Yeah, I have this taped. It's like a post-it note that I wrote to prove to the person that told me the advice that I would do it. But all it says is keep learning. The person, they went to a what's it called? They found a new job. They left and went somewhere else, and they're actually a competitor. Their publication now, but I love them. No hard feelings. It was a joke. I would always be like, "Ooh, you traitor," but they're great. So it's really cool to like see their name and be like, "Hey, like that's an awesome story," or like, "How'd you do it? Now that the story's published, can you tell me?" kind of thing.
So,
Yeah, but they were always a support for me since like they were one of my first supervisors when I started at NPR. Yeah, so they we got coffee is when they told me that they were leaving, and I was like, what do you want to leave me with? Like I have always come to you. What am I gonna learn now, kind of thing. And
yeah,
there's plenty of people I look up to. It's just those like people that were kind of your like first support network. It's strange to come to terms with like, oh bye, like see ya,
yeah,
while we're covering similar things. Yeah, but he said keep learning. It's like all I can tell you because you're you're gonna learn hopefully more than I could ever teach you. So it was just like one of those moments where it's like, yep, that's a practical thing. I can always strive for that. And I can always like you can never blame yourself when you're learning something. So I think it was just really illuminating. It's
yeah,
something easy to remember. It's advice that like is obvious, but it's nice to have that little reminder taped to my desk because it encourages me to just like keep learning and to forgive myself if it's something I don't know because I can just learn it. How about you? What's advice someone's given you?
Oh, for me, it's to continue to ask questions and continue to be a sponge. I remember one of my mentors told me to continue to ask questions, to continue to be a sponge because you just never do stop learning. It sounds similar to what yours is. And for me, I always find myself striving to be better than the next day than I was the last day. I feel like if you have goals to set, if you set goals for yourself and you always continue to set goals, then complacency will never set in, especially with this industry. You just never know. Um, uh, you never know who you're going to meet that's going to change your life. And I know another piece of advice that I got was to keep networking, and I naturally do that. But they told me to keep networking because you just never know who you're going to meet that will change your life. You never know who you're going to meet that's going to give you an opportunity. You never know who's listening to you. So I take those two things to heart, and I really just try to continue to learn and try to get better, and always continue to network. Because again, you meet some very awesome people in this industry like yourself who are driven, passionate, whether they've been in the industry for a couple years or 22 years.
Yeah.
Uh, we're in the industry together, and what we do and how we got here is different. But the reason why we're here is all the same because we love the storytell. We love to be able to, be a pillar in our communities, be able to be an advocate for the people. And that's ultimately why we do journalism, right? And that's pretty much the advice that I give for sure. Monica, this has been a really, really dope podcast. It really has. It's been good because talking to somebody who's a native of Minnesota, which just to ask this bonus question for you, how special is it for you to be working in your hometown state where you grew up, doing journalism, something that you love?
I feel incredibly blessed. It's always been something that I mean, like I grew up here, so of course, like it feels special, but it has always felt like the place that I just feel seen, I feel valued, or I feel like I can find my crowd that I'm seen and valued in, which is kind of irreplaceable. But recently, I've just been reminded like Minneapolis stands up for each other in a way that like a lot of places do, but it's just um, really surreal and really kind of like crazy to be documenting that firsthand. Because I think it's just like what a moment. So it's just taught me like, oh yeah, this community it's cool to have not only for like from a networking and a building sources kind of community like that web that network, but also just as like a person who I love the links. I love PWHL, like the Frost. I love being able to have these things that I can call my own, or like our own in Minnesota, and yeah, and it's like it's cold. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's we all have accents. Like I'm sure maybe people if people hear me and I've said any like bag like yeah I say it like a Minnesotan, but I think it's unique. We have the best, in my opinion, art scene. We have a great media scene. We just we have a lot of special stuff that I think people have slept on, honestly, but that's okay because more for me than no, I'm just kidding. But it's special, and I love it.
I love that. And listen, I love you for coming on here to my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, and being able to rock with me on here. Obviously, learn about you, going to Hamline, perfecting your craft, and being able to be a graduate from Hamline, but also being able to work from your hometown as a associate producer, now a digital producer, telling stories from the links to college, but also being able to talk about RAs, being able to talk about things that happen in the news and being able to differentiate. I love that. And you give us some great advice, and we also learned some things about you as well. So, my final question to you is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, your job, or anything at all before we conclude?
Yeah, I love dancing. That's my work life balance. That's my stress. How I get rid of the stress of anything. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do love dancing though. So That's
Yeah.
outside of work. Maybe one day I can do a piece about dancing and the dance community here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. But
I
until
would love
then,
that.
keep
I
dancing.
would love to really dance. I got two left feet. I mean, I try to dance, but watching me dance is like watching Sam take a drop. It's gonna be better. That's for sure, no question. But it's all good.
Well, it's not about being good. It's about being present and enjoying it. I'm not good,
Okay,
but
well, I'll tell you what, I can definitely be present, and I definitely do enjoy it. I enjoy a
there,
good. So yes, if that's what you're looking for, I'm your man. No question about that.
there
But
you go.
I want to say thank you once again for coming on my podcast and really allocating your time to me. I'm a new fan of yours. We will definitely keep in touch. I look forward to seeing you down the line. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, soon to be Friday early morning, and you also enjoy your weekend. So you take care.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy Valentine's weekend.
No,
Yay.
yeah, right. All right. You take care.
Bye.